Okay. Thank you so much, Dorian, for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
So, walk me through a night at Max.
I like to get there, and I always like to look at the board. I guess some people might not know. You know, obviously, you know the board. They has the fight card. Just take a look at it. Walk in, just kind of sit down and wait for the show to start. And then that's pretty much it. I say my hellos to everyone. I'm pretty personable. I enjoy the people I work with, so just.
So, what about the actual commentating? What is that like? How do you sort of...
Rambo likes to smack me in the back of the head when he walks in.
Yeah, he does.
I think he likes me. He's my friend.
What is that like? What are you looking for when you're commentating?
For me, I like to give it like a fighter perspective. So I kind of look at it from a standpoint of, I try and pay attention to the little details. Like, for instance, if I see one guy doing something very well, I like to be analytical and say, okay, well, what can this guy do to maybe finish the fight, and then what can his opponent do to counteract what's being done to him, and maybe get back into the fight. And so I like to put myself in that sort of position where I'm looking at it from both angles, like from everything from foot positioning to even looking at, because hey, I don't know everything. You see some fantastic fighters out there, so it's like little tricks and things that I see. They're like, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I even like to go as far as to like take some of the stuff, especially when it gets into the clinch, and look at it from a standpoint of similarities to judo, Greco-Roman wrestling, and just see all the various similarities.
Do you see a lot of similarities between wrestling and
Tremendous.
Muay Thai? What?
The clinch. Being around the Ohio State wrestlers, they've had opportunity to go to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and seeing, watching those guys wrestle. There's tremendous similarities between the clinch and basically Greco or upper body wrestling. Even the foot sweeps that you see a lot of Thais do, I think of like a Pacorn, a Super Bank, those kind of sweeps from in the clinch. It's no different than the judo or Ashiwaza, just without the kimono on. So it's a lot. It's tremendous. And when I showed, it was a Thai, Panjan Suk. He's a bigger Thai, dark skinned Thai. You'll probably remember him. I think he was a super pro for a while.
I can't remember.
Back in the day, anyway.
Yeah.
So, Sean, I remember showing it to a friend of mine that was an Ohio State wrestler, and he was like, this dude would be a good Greco guy. I was like, really? We're like, it's the same principle. And they were explaining it to me, and I was like, this is Muay Thai. He's like, well, shit, man, this is, then it looks the same as wrestling. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see, like, Thai guys sort of fuck around with MMA guys, and a lot of times their basic skills are pretty decent. They can sprawl right away. They understand. Some
I don't
of the
think people have actually
it.
explained it to the Thais, like, and that's something I like. Wish someone did for me, but like I don't think people explain it to the Thais, like you don't need, like they get too. I think people try and use their moment to speak too much instead of just trying to get it real simple. Like, take one of these Thais and say, look, just clinch, basically. That is Greco. You're gonna stop a lot of guys if you just clinch them. When they grab you, let's not get into all these technical terms. Just clinch their ass as if you was in a Thai fight with no gloves or little gloves. And they would stop a lot of takedowns. Of course, when you're going, below the waist, low single, ankle picks, things like that. But as far as upper body stuff, which is what most of you'll see in like MMA, the Thais are going to be phenomenal with that shit.
You see Stamp do that sort of stuff. Like,
I think of the new girl.
Her clinching is quite good.
But I think of the new girl that's in the UFC. Loma?
Oh, Loma Lookboonmee. She's real good.
Well, right there, you can see, like, the girl was panicking. She's going to give a tremendous props because she can clinch.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about commentating? You've been at Max for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Have you commentated other shows before? Or?
Not Muay Thai. I did MMA before.
What is commentating like for Muay Thai versus MMA?
I'd much rather do Muay Thai.
Why is that?
Muay Thai is where my heart is. If anyone knew my backstory, they know why Muay Thai is so special to me. But that could be for another day. But I just love the the art of Muay Thai, especially Muay Thai, and I say Muay Thai, I always make the distinction. Muay Thai in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people get confused. I'm not talking about Muay Thai in America. I'm talking about Muay Thai in Thailand, the birthplace. Mm-hmm. Seeing that, I like seeing the respect the fighters show one another, and then you know the backstory. You know what these guys are fighting for. You know what they where they come from, poverty and stuff, and just the passion, the whole atmosphere. Like I always say, if you've never been to Thailand, you're really doing yourself a disservice claiming to be a Thai fighter, because there's nothing like that. You can watch it online, you can watch YouTube videos, but just walking in the stadium or a Thai arena, seeing the gambling pit, just the energy level is just something you can't duplicate.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a distinct feeling of being at a stadium, or even like one of those local upcountry shows.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Nothing compares.
It's so
to it.
cool. People are excited. There's all this stuff going on, and a lot of times as a foreigner you don't know what's happening, but it's still super interesting.
But you can feel the energy, and it's all good energy, and it's like it's passionate. It's just like people talk about, I guess, what they call it in Europe, football fans, but I think more Muay Thai fans are the most passionate. In Thailand, the Thai are extremely passionate when it comes, especially the gamblers.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big part of the sport.
Yeah, you can't duplicate it, and if you're, and they're not, and Americans need to come here more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very few Americans coming out here. So, obviously, Max is 7 nights a week, so very, very frequently. You're there 3 or 4 nights a week. 4 nights a week.
Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. So Saturday is the four-man tournament. I've worked that show for quite a while. It was like my favorite night.
It's mine too.
Why is it your favorite night?
For me, several reasons. One is like I get to work with Rob Cox, and if people don't know who he is, I mean, you're a fucking idiot. Can I curse?
Yeah, you
all
can
right, well,
curse.
then
It's
you're
fine.
a fucking idiot if you don't know where. I mean, this guy's a legendary figure in the Muay Thai world of Thailand, and I learned a lot. Like I asked him questions and stuff. Hopefully he doesn't hear this, but if he does hear, I'll make a thing like, we got a fan question, but it's not from a fucking fan, it's from me. That's something I want to know, because I'm just curious to like picking his brain. And the back and forth with him, I mean, he's commentated a lot of fights, so that's one of the things that I really like, it's like, I guess, like a mentor in the sport. I like that, but I also like the drama of the 4-man. I mean, there is, like, you think this guy's the favorite, he might pick up a cut in the first round, with the semifinals. Yeah. Then he wins, goes into the finals, but he's got this cut. Then we have the 4th round. You got the draw.
Yeah.
Most max three rounds. For people that don't know, it's 3 rounds in the event of a tournament. You can go to a called a dreaded draw, the 4th round, and and then you just like, and you see the gamblers going crazy. Like, so I'm looking over there, and they're like jumping up and down, going nuts, because they're either losing a whole lot of money or winning a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I like the 4-man tournaments a lot too, because there's always like a storyline to it.
Yeah.
It's always like, okay, maybe there's a favorite, or maybe there's an underdogs. There's something like a developed storyline there.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen as much in the single fights.
No. And I'm never right. I like to make picks and predictions.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty much wrong. I'm sure if Rob hears this, it's over for me. But
well, Rob generally stays pretty neutral.
Rob's neutral, but like I do like to go out there and make these my predictions. I'm not doing so well in the year of 2020. I'm 0-1.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, 0-1.
We've only had one.
Oh yeah. Who did you pick?
I forget who I picked for the first one, but he definitely didn't win.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you said that Rob is a bit of a mentor? What are some of the other things that you've learned from him?
Just a lot, man. I mean, it goes. I mean, a story that people don't know. I mean, I know this podcast isn't about my background, but just a thing that's pretty cool. My first fight in Lumpini, Rob actually commentated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was there at my first fight in Lumpini. He did call me a handsome young man.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't. But he did say the young American.
The young American.
Joke's on him. Then, no, just because I'm a historian, so I like to know the people that are, before me around. So when it was a funny thing because I saw him talking to Abigail from Sitman, and I was like, oh shit, that's Rob Cox. I hope you're saying good things about me. And I was like, probably not, but I really hope so. Because, you got guys like that, and I'm sure that'll be the case for you. When you've been around here, so you're developing a name, so these young guys are going to come up and they're going to be like, man, that's Matt Lucas,
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so when I got, the job at Max, and I'm talking to Rob, I just asked different questions. Like, I like to ask a lot of questions about the Golden Era.
Mm-hmm.
He was around for that. I asked him, well, who would have won the, hypothetical fights, or hey, who is the best knee guy? And even during the course of the fight, I'll say, well, trying to learn the scoring. That's something I didn't learn during the course of my career. So I'm like, trying to break down the scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what scores more points? Okay, why doesn't this score? Okay, what are the judges looking for? Even off the air in between the fights, I'll ask them, what's the difference between the stadiums and here? What are they looking for in the stadiums? Can you get away with this? If there's something that we can't do at Max, I'll say, well, can you get away with it in the stadiums? So, and just he talks to me about Thai culture. It's just, man, he's a wealth of knowledge, and so I'm just constantly looking to pick his brain about different things, As he says, he's always taking the piss out of me. I don't know what the hell that means, these British people, but
I mean, he's been here for like 20 years and in the sport for longer than any of us.
Rob's so old, he was probably storming the beaches of Normandy. No, he's an awesome guy, man.
One of the things you said is like, I've definitely had this before, is like, him being sort of an influential figure. I remember like first meeting Rob like 10 years ago and being like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're like kind of starstruck
a little bit. Like, I don't get starstruck about most people, but
right.
I was like, wow, this guy, like, he's been around. Does that ever happen to you? Like, people coming up to you and being like,
nah,
you're Dorian Price.
No, because I don't really think that, and it's one of the things I like in Thailand, because at the end of the day, who the fuck am I? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And I think that's where foreigners get confused. Like, people get confused, like, oh man, I do these elbows. It's like, look around, motherfucker. The guy that works at the fruit stand threw elbows better than you, man. Like, this is Thailand, bro. No matter what you did and how good you think you are, you just calm down. They ain't that impressive. They seem better.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I like me, because, and I keep that shit in the back of my mind to keep me humble. No one really comes up to me.
I like that a lot about Thai culture too. There's like there's not a big, like the celebrity culture out here is different.
Yeah.
You'll see like stars like Ratang, like just with regular people.
Yeah, he comes to the stadium and just sits there like a regular person.
Yeah, he sits in the bleachers or what? Oh, I saw him at Channel 7 for Crop Suit's fight.
Okay.
And he's just in the normal area.
Yeah.
And like, with everyone else, and he's like, hey, Crop Suit, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
And it's totally normal.
I think it's a cultural thing here, which I like, is that it's more the respect for the elders.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see guys like that are superstars. Like I think I seen it was Psy out there, and he wide. I don't know, you can't really show the judge why is the greeting when they put their hands together for the people that can't see it, but like, and he goes up to Robin wise, and like, you see these guys, go to the. I remember seeing Sanchai do that to PA from Sitman Shop,
mm-hmm.
And you're looking like, oh shit, that's Sanchai. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, wow, does he owe him money? Like, why is he doing that? Then you start, as you realize the cultural thing. And I think that's what makes it cool here, and not all that, I don't know, Western.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like a level of respect for each other that does not necessarily happen, or you don't see it as much in the
very
in the
rarely.
West. Like I do think it's there. I think like in the Muay Thai world, you see like other old school Muay Thai guys, like you're like, hey man, what's up? It's a little different.
Yeah.
But it's much more apparent out here.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing, and I like that as well.
That's why I really enjoy it.
So, I mean, obviously, you've been there for 2 years. You've seen a lot of talent come through, both Thai and Falan. Are there any people that you like a lot? Like any talents that you're like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Foreigner or Thai? Or
Well, let's go
okay,
do one, then the other.
okay.
So
We'll stick with foreigner or start with
let's do ties first.
Okay. Kong Thailand.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just.
he's next level.
I mean, he reminds me so much of Sunblock.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is like the second coming of Sunblock in a lot of ways. His IQ's brilliant. Another one of my favorites is Ultra, AIT. I like his movement. I like Pet Naren because he's just batshit fucking crazy. And you can just hit him in the face with a sledgehammer and he'll keep coming.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting, especially when he can match him with a Cambodian. Who are some other guys? There's a guy that I just saw not too long ago. A young kid, Yo Tong Pep. And I've only seen him once. I haven't yet to see him again. But those are some of the guys that. Udon Black, I like him. Good power. I mean, those are some of the guys that kind of really stand out the most for me. I mean, you see so much talent come through.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. You one night you could see a whole bunch of superstars on one card.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of really good fighters come through there. Like Ratong came through.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
And like I remember,
Didn't he win the belt? Right.
he won a 4-man belt.
Okay.
Like I remember commentating his fights and being like, "Oh, a Jip Muangnon fighter is here. Oh, Ratong, like the little tank.
Yeah.
Oh, he's exciting," and like being like, "Oh, he's cool. Oh, Ratong is fighting. Awesome."
Yeah.
And then he left. He went to the main stadiums.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot about him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then like he started popping back up, and it took me a while to remember that I'd actually watched and commentated on
That's
him before.
fucking awesome.
But it's it's sort of crazy that Max works sometimes as a stepping stone for people.
Yeah.
It's got like a good level for itself. So it's really interesting. What about
Sandpet? I forgot my buddy.
Sandpet?
One of my favorite people. He's just also a great person.
Yeah.
He fought Fanta.
Oh, really?
Remember that fight? Before the Mung Lao. Would have been Fanta's fight right before
Oh,
that.
I didn't see that one.
Really?
I usually watch Fanta's fight.
Man, both of those guys, man, the IQ is
I
incredible.
like Fanta a lot.
I like Fanta a lot, too.
Yeah.
I know he caught some slack for the last
Yeah.
one, but I'm crazy, too, so I kind of relate to what he was doing.
He's
But him and
funny.
Sandpet, man, you got to see that fight. Which
Yeah.
is the skill level is just something you just off the charts between them two.
What about foreigners?
I'm gonna go Charles Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
TJ. I really enjoyed what he did his fight with Kong Tao. It was such a build up.
Yeah, that was
and I think that was like
good.
probably one of the biggest upsets on Max.
Yeah.
I really like to see the way he did progress coming over. Willie Whip was one that really stands out. I mean, arguably he's got to be the top foreigner over here at this point. American, not foreigner, American. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I love watching him fight. Now, in his growth over the years, man,
Yeah.
he's
getting
better
good.
and better. Yeah,
He's getting good.
I'm becoming a big fan of Willie. I like.
I like Willie because he grinds it out.
He is a hard fucking worker,
Yeah,
man.
when he
And a great person, man.
yeah he's really nice. 4 years ago when he started at Max, he was okay.
Yeah.
Not great, not
right.
bad,
Yeah.
but he's had runs of like good form and bad form.
Yeah, he's been kind of hit or miss, up and down. Yeah.
But he's just stuck at it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things you got to stick
And it's
with.
like, now, I look at him fight, I'm like, oh, wow, you have a lot of, like, skills now. Like, you're not
Willie's
just,
good,
like,
yeah.
punch and low kick anymore.
No, Willie is, yeah.
You can body kick, you can, like...
He's sweeping people in the clinch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, like, I think he's developing really good IQ now.
And, I mean, that's just from fighting all the fucking
he's
time.
just all the time. Just constantly putting himself out there. And he's fighting different level of opposition, man. So I really like him. You know, I
And
love-
like because he's there so often, they know how to match him.
yeah,
You know, they're like, okay, this will be a good fight. Okay, this one's like Willie's a little bit better. Okay, this guy,
Yeah.
this guy is a little better, but which is good. Like
I
you,
think so,
you,
yeah.
you need like to fight people that are a little better than you, the same level, and a little below you.
Yeah.
You know.
I forgot to mention Jai Pet as a foreigner, as a Thai too. I like him.
Oh, Jaipet Sitchopong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I wish he fought a little more, but I guess because he's like heavyweight.
But yeah, it's hard to find people.
Yeah.
At his weight, foreigners
Yeah.
that can really hang with his skill level.
Yeah.
Difficult. I like Sam, as a foreigner from
Sam-
Rob's gym.
Sam Gao.
Gao, yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. Tough,
He's
tough guy, man.
Yeah, he's cracking away at it too.
Yeah, he's going
You
well. I
know.
really like him. We're getting a lot of good foreigners. I do wish we saw more Americans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't see too many of them.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I don't know how offensive I can make this, but I mean, in all honesty, I don't know. I don't know. It's always been troubling to me trying to figure out why. I mean, you look at the Australians, you look at the French, you look at the British, a lot of other places in Europe. They've all kind of embraced it and come over here and learning the Thai way and fighting here regularly. And it's no big thing to go to a gym in Bangkok or any gym and see 5 Australians at a good level there, or 5 British, or 5 French, or whatever.
Yeah.
But try finding 2 Americans in the same fucking city, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't know. Maybe it's ego. Maybe it's the fact that Americans are maybe looking to just go to MMA. I don't know. I've kind of given up.
Wondering why.
Yeah, I really have, man. Because
Yeah.
for years I'm just like I've never understood like why it just we're not coming over here as much as I see from other countries, man.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like, when you're around for a long time, you see how important it is, like, for people
Yeah.
to come over for a long time, and then if they go back, they help develop the sport so
Yeah.
much, You look...
Look at France. Put Patnoy went over there, was one of the first times.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, he developed Danny Bill. Manu Ento, who's now in America, which is Danny Bill's cousin. You had Farid Villamia, Skarbowski,
Yeah.
and just on and on and on to now the new generation. Look at Australia. I mean, you had before John Wayne. I'm sure there was somebody coming. You had
Yeah.
John Wayne,
John Wayne.
Nathan, even Corbett was a
Corbett,
big guy.
Yeah, he was...
But he still came here. I mean, as a youngster, he was still smaller, so he was able to come here. I mean, and they just developed on and on. So now you got just like a mini mecca of Muay Thai in Australia as well.
Yeah.
England, you got the Bad Company guys. I mean, there were guys before. You had Ronnie Green, and some of the guys there, and then you got the Bad Company. They started coming to Jitty, and then like them guys are killing it. I love watching like Liam Harrison. These guys are like, I mean, he's one of my favorites. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
I like watching him. But like for some reason, you have Americans that have been over here, and you have great ties in America. You have Johnson Arms over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret you have Kensuk.
Kensak.
Kensai over there on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You have Sak Mongol was there for one point
Yeah.
in Colorado or somewhere out
Yeah,
there.
Colorado.
Yeah. So there's no reason that, and I know in the 90s you had Fairtex was in Arizona when I started.
Yeah.
Then they moved before they moved to San Francisco, and so there used to be some really good shows there. Muay Thai was starting to grow. I mean, John Wayne met his wife in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
he fought Turbo.
Toddy's.
That's a Toddy's promotion. He fought a Thai named Turbo, I think it was. But you had it starting to develop in the U.S. And then, I don't know, MMA exploded. I don't know what happened. And then, for whatever reason, Americans just do not come over here. If
Yeah.
they do come, you and I talked about it before.
Yeah.
You gotta stay.
Yeah.
If you can't come for a month and then leave for 3 months, you have to stay and keep yourself here and deal with the ups, the downs, the wins,
Yeah.
the losses.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you need to stay at least a year,
At least we don't stay.
and like in order to because there's so much you see over a year. Like over a year, you can basically see the life cycle
Yeah.
of like a fighter and the stadium and like everything that happens.
But here's another thing. Well, if I'm a trainer and I'm a Thai, why would I want to invest in you?
Yeah.
If you're gonna, how many of these guys see a guy come and he's gone in a month or two and you
Yeah.
never see him again? So in his mind, he's like, what the fuck I want to waste my time with you for? You'll be gone in a month or so anyway. So, you know, here, let's do some pad rounds. Here's a trick or two and go back. You know,
Yeah,
fuck
fuck
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see it, when you actually put your time and they're like, all right, this guy's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Then you become worth, and I completely understand that.
Yeah.
You know, this is a livelihood to them. Why wait? I'm not mad at them. Don't waste your fucking time.
Yeah. Why? They're, you know, for them, it's like, why should I invest in you if you're just a fucking tourist?
You're a
You
tourist.
know?
What are you gonna do? You gonna fight in
Like-
a stadium for me? No. You're gonna, you know, help me
Build
propel
my
myself?
name.
Yeah.
You
No.
know, do anything.
You're gonna fight. You're gonna go, and then who knows? For all I know is you're gonna do a month here and then go do a month in another camp.
Yeah.
In Chiang Mai somewhere.
Yeah. So like, and I think like a lot of times, like Westerners come over and they're like, well, why aren't people, you know, at certain gyms or whatever? They're like, oh, why aren't people like nice and super friendly with me? And it's like, well, you know, are you super friendly with them? Are
must
you
have
like,
talked to somebody that met me?
yeah, you know, are you investing in them? Because
Yeah.
you know, when you pay for training, you're like paying for the training, but you're also like getting entry into a world. And it's like, what are you treating this new world right, or are you just a fucking tourist? You know?
Mostly, not most. I see a lot of people that just really, they basically pimping out the Thai culture.
Mm-hmm.
They're pimping out Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Because it's an art to it, you know. You got to be involved in it. You have to invest certain things, you know. And like I always tell people, they're like, oh, well, can I train for free or this? I'm like, nothing's for free. You going to pay with something. Either you paying with money or you paying with sweat and blood.
Yeah.
You giving up something.
Mm-hmm. So, since you first came over to Thailand in '98, how have you seen the sport evolve over time?
Man, I haven't been here as long as a guy like Rob. I mean, that's another question I always pick his brain for. The amount of foreigners I see coming over.
Mhm.
There were hardly any. I mean, at one point they thought I was like Danny Bills. Like they kept saying, "Oh, him, same Danny Bill." Like I didn't even know Danny Bill was at the time. I was like, "What the hell?" It's like they're like, "Oh, him, same Danny Bill." They kept thinking I was from France. They didn't even know there was black guys in America. Let alone doing Muay Thai. They're like, oh, him, same Danny Bill.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, I was like, I don't give a fuck where y'all say I'm from. As long as y'all keep training me, that means y'all cool. I'm like, I don't. So they be like this, I be like this, same Danny Bill. But that's probably one of the biggest things is the amount of foreigners,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of tourism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I think has been great for the sport, good and bad.
Yeah.
It waters stuff down, but at the same time, I think it's provided I think now the Thais have realized it's a business,
Yeah.
and they can make money off of it and capitalize off it. But
Mhm.
like anything else, you start letting anybody in, you're gonna water down a little bit of the authenticity of
Mhm.
it, and you know the hard nature. Everyone can't, you know, from some of the stories that I've heard Rob say about the Golden Era.
Yeah.
I mean, these foreigners would have cried and tried to sue somebody had they would have paid and got that kind of training.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, some things have had to go down. But I mean, the tourism has also brought us our jobs. I don't think it'd be max without these kind of guys coming over paying money for training and stuff. I mean, it's giving us our lifestyle here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess it's like the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a part of the sport. You know.
Yeah.
It's like part of the entertainment industry. It's also sports tourism. You know, now you have like mega gyms like Tiger Muay Thai.
Oh yeah.
You know, and there's good and bad about places like that because yet they introduce people on like a very low level to the sport.
Yeah.
And people gotta get introduced somehow.
Yeah.
And then maybe 1 in 100 ends up going to a different gym and becomes the next superstar, and really becomes
think
invested. You know,
it's good for them to be able to start at a place like that. And it's, look, that place and those gyms like that, they cater to what they're designed for. They're designed for tourists. They're designed for people to have like feel good pad sessions and things like that. I think it's good for them.
So, since you see a lot of foreigners at Max, do you feel they fight differently, and how do most foreigners handle fighting, just in general?
Now we're going to exclude the Cambodians and Laotians, right?
Yeah. Like, I think there's
Okay.
like, I guess when I'm saying foreigners, I'm saying Westerners.
All right, because I don't know
Because,
what pumps
like,
through their bloods.
yeah, because the Laotians and Cambodians, the Burmese, they fight differently
Yeah.
than the Thais,
Yeah.
and they're like always super exciting to watch
Yeah.
because they come in with so much grit,
Yeah.
like all the time. It's sort of interesting. You know,
I think it's a cultural. I think it's a fact that them guys have seen conflict.
yeah,
I mean, always, seeing conflict and seeing that type of stuff at a young age. And also, they're on a lower socioeconomic scale than Thailand. So, I mean, I think you that factored with the fact that, I mean, a lot of these people, you got to think with Cambodia, it hasn't been, they're not that far removed from Pol Pot and the killing fields. Laos is pretty much the epicenter for the Golden Triangle.
yeah,
And not only is communist, I believe, People's Republic of Laos.
yeah. I'm not.
Or
Yeah,
maybe.
my.
I have to look it up, but it's below on a socioeconomic level, much poorer than Thailand. I think those things play a factor in the way these guys fight. I mean, we talk about like fighting to get out of poverty. I mean, Thais is one thing, but then I mean, golly, you go, how much further down can you go?
Yeah, for sure. But I also think like there's a lot of culture in fighting too, because you see like generally Japanese fighters, you see them, they always
They're
like
the most accomplished.
they're always like they fight with their hearts like all the time.
Oh, they're all samurai warriors. I mean, they the
like,
definition of samurai.
I don't. You see some guys like give up sometimes.
I never seen Japanese give up.
I feel like I've never seen a Japanese guy like
No. They fight to the bitter end.
Yeah, they fight to the bitter end, and I really like that about them.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I like the Cambodians too. I mean, they'll go out on the shield like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Obviously, Japan has that whole samurai history, and those guys really embody that.
Yeah. But what about Westerners? Yeah.
It's kind of really hit or miss, man. I mean, I'd have to say guys like Willie, the guys I mentioned, Willie, TJ. I mean, they kind of really embrace a sort of good Thai style. I mean, that's what I thought was magnificent about the way Charles Johnson fought Kong Thailand when the only time they fought was like they both put on a good Muay Thai style, like an IQ sort of style. Willie's starting to develop that, as we talked about. He has the ability to do that. But most of the times you see for Westerners, and I guess I'll go on Americans that I see come, the clinch is the Achilles heel.
Yeah,
they can box real good. For the most part, they can box. They're aggressive, but once they get grabbed, things start going downhill and downhill rapidly.
Yeah, I guess I meant a little bit more like emotionally, because sometimes you can see like people break a little easier.
You're asking like, do I see them break?
Yeah. Do you see the Westerners break more?
More than who? Than
I guess like the. I mean, I definitely feel like you see more Westerners break than the Thais.
Yeah, I think sometimes what happens is they get it and they don't realize, like, I still say this, a lot of people do this for, if there was no Instagram and social media, a lot of people wouldn't be doing Muay Thai. It's like something to do.
Yeah.
Like the girl just puts a whole bunch of ass shots on there. On Instagram, it got no talent, but that's her talent is having a big ass. I just think like a lot of these guys aren't in it for the love of the sport. They're in it for like this is some cool shit to do.
Yeah. I mean, like that's a little bit of the tourism factor.
It could be tourism, but here's the problem though. Then you get put in there with a guy from Surin who's like taking this shit deadly serious, because It's either this or I'm working on the fucking rice field or the rubber farm with my family in the fucking 100-degree heat. Yeah. I'm gladly gonna whoop somebody's ass to get out of this shit. And when them two people meet, it don't end well for the guy that's over here like, hey, I need some Instagram shots. It never works out.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know where Surin is, go Google it on the map. I would say it's one of the poor areas, but it also produces that whole region probably produces some of the best Thai fighters, I think.
Yeah, Buriram and Surin.
Yeah.
I think Bukau is from Surin.
Bukau is from
Surin. Do you know anyone else?
I
mainly know like guys from Buriram, like the.
I know a lot from Buriram, but it's all around here.
Yeah. I mean, it's mainly Isan, and then I feel like it's a little more concentrated.
Surin is more near Cambodia. It's very close to Cambodia.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of the cultural overlaps.
Yeah.
What skills do you think you need to be a good commentator?
You have to have a love for the sport. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a love for the art, it's not going to work out. Mm-hmm. And the ability to understand like what's going on, like you have to be able to say, okay, the guy in the red, he's doing this. Okay, blue, man, he needs to watch out for this. Mm-hmm. Which all comes back down to having a love of the art.
Mm-hmm. Why do you like it so much? Why do you like Muay Thai so much?
That could be a long thing, delving into my past, but I mean, it saved my life. When I started Muay Thai, man, I dealt with a lot of losses. Mm-hmm. My first 3 years, that's it. I used to fight a lot. Mm-hmm. I remember I started doing Muay Thai, but I was fighting a lot, and I remember I was home hanging out. Well, anyway, little story. I remember my brothers, one of his best friends, was hanging out, and he was just shooting. Like every block seemed like a guy. It was the weirdest night ever. I don't know if you want to go into this on this podcast, but
up to you.
It was the weirdest night ever. So it's just like you could hear gunfire on this one block. The next one, it kept getting closer, and no one runs until it gets to you fucking close enough. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. Some kids got PTSD growing up in certain environments. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, I was blessed to have a good family, but still, the people I was around, my family was in other situations. Mm-hmm. And then we were all hanging out. Anyway, literally you just heard it sounded like cannons going off across the street. That's when you run. Things go, you run, you wait for things to calm down, you go back, you finish hanging out. Mm-hmm. But both of my brothers were at a tournament. Mm-hmm. And a basketball tournament because they were really good. And then so I remember they called me like the next day and they're like, oh man, our buddy got shot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, it's Baltimore, somebody gets shot every day, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went home. Anyway, we went to the hospital and they talking to him. He got shot with a .357 Magnum for fighting. And 5 times. And it was literally, you could see holes in his body. Damn. And the reason people live is Baltimore has one of the top-notch hospitals in terms of dealing with that. It's called shock trauma. You also have Johns Hopkins. That's what saves a lot of people's lives in there. I mean, because they are magnums. I don't know how someone survives a .357 Magnum, a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So, another year I lost my other brother. I mean, so I dealt with a lot of things. So Muay Thai really kept me on the straight and narrow. I mean, fuck, at one point I had a guy selling, I was in college and I had a buddy of mine, he was selling guns and weapons out of my fucking apartment. Mm-hmm. And I remember coming back and he comes running in there. I'm trying to do my homework and he comes running in there like, yo, I got grenades. I was like this. Hey man, I gotta go, man. This ain't gonna work. I'm moving, bro. Because he's like, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a landmine next. And I was like this. I don't know what the fuck you planning this shit, man, but this shit is getting uncomfortable. I mean, it's one thing I'm trying to do my fucking homework and I got like Uzis and bullets sitting around there. I'm just like, look, man, I'm in school, man. I'm a school guy. I'm not trying to get involved with this shit, man.
Yeah.
So Muay Thai, that's like, it helped me.
It just like helped you stay disciplined and sort of.
Well, it helped me deal with it. I mean, when I lost my brother, Kevin, he was on his way to being, he was actually it was crazy because I had my first fight. He just had a basketball game against one of the top players in the nation at the time, and this is when they had just started the rule. The NBA passed the rule, but you couldn't leave from high school anymore because he was going to enter the draft, so you had to go do 1 year of college. So he goes to a junior college, and he's down in the Florida in the junior college, and I know the 76, they had Allen Iverson at the time. They wanted him real bad, some other people. Somehow he get a car. His ass can't drive a car. And he damn sure ain't driving the car from Florida to Baltimore. And he ends up, he dies. And that hit me real hard, man. And it was like, and it was actually kind of crazy because I was in the grocery store with my mother not too long after that. Saw another friend. He was like, hey, man, where were you, man? One of my other friends had a funeral because he had died, like passed away. So like, I fell into deep depression.
Yeah.
I mean, and so Muay Thai really kept me like out of trouble. Like when people would ask me to do certain things and go maybe get in trouble, the fact of like saying like, nah, man, I got to go to the gym, man. I mean, and then gradually you start splitting from them type of people that are living that sort of lifestyle. And I just found myself going to the gym. Being like, nah, man, I can't do that today, man. Nah, I got to go to the gym, man. Or, you know, it actually became my excuse to get away from doing that stuff. Like between that and doing schoolwork, I was like, I ain't got time for that, man. So, you know, some of the situations they end up well for people, but nonetheless,
yeah,
that's and that's why I'm happy being in Thailand. Like I made my bro and I tell a story. Like when he got the NBA, we was gonna do this, and he was like, man, you should you're gonna be in Thailand, man. I'm gonna be flying over there. You're gonna have private and all this stuff like that. So at the end of the day, when people ask, like, I don't care about belts or none of that other stuff, I just made he was like, man, you gotta like really go after this, man. Go over there and live and stuff. And like one of my best friends, he's been locked up since we were both 16. I'm 43 now, so you can do the math. I mean, he's never seen the light of day.
Fuck, dude.
He's got he's never seen the light of day. And he would write stuff, and he was like, man, look, you gotta just live this shit up, man. Go over to Thailand and everything. So at the end of the day, I don't care if I ain't win belts, I don't do nothing else. At the end of the day, I did what the fuck I said I was going to do, and I kept my promise to them. And that's more important than anything. At the end of the day, I kept my promise, meaning that I found a way to come to Thailand and stay in Thailand and like make a life here. So for me, that's more important. They had the ability to give back because that's what they was all wanting to do is help people. So now I'm able to do that.
How do you think being over here alone...
That was fucking sad, wasn't it?
That was sad. That was sad.
But hey, that was the truth.
I mean,
you asked.
that's real. I mean, you know...
My story's different than a lot, but you asked.
How do you think being over here long term has changed you? And like, just being in the sport for a long time, how has that impacted you?
They made me better. I had a lot of demons I had to deal with. Granted, you know, you can hear some of the things. I mean, and my demons run from life. Like it made me. I think it's made me better. It's made me calm. Being around Thai people, like, and I always had a love-hate relationship. I mean, you can attest to it when I see things I say in Thailand. I've kind of had like a love-hate relationship, and that's part of not really understanding stuff, having to look at things differently, and you know, being around like. And the craziest thing is, I've mostly been around in the Buddhist country. My first couple trainers were Muslim. I live in a pretty much Muslim community right now, and so a Muslim, you know, Thai community. You know, my trainers were Muslim Thai. I mean, one of my favorite fighters, Nam Sak Noi, was Muslim. Yeah. So I mean, it's ironic I'm in a Buddhist country, but it's made me calmer than what I used to be. It's made me look at things and kind of like with more like humility, because I walk around and I'm like, and like I said, you could go to Max and I can, you know, I eat at the little restaurant next door a lot of times, and you can sit out there, fucking boom lie, So a Tiny Kun could walk up the thing.
Yeah.
I seen Gal, Fairtex walk up there. Darn Trulette comes up. And it says, you see these people walking around, so put yourself in humility. Like, so anytime I start thinking like, man, I'm kind of good. When these guys walk past, I'm like, you ain't shit doing. Just finish eating your fucking food, man. Pay your respect to them and just eat your food, man. But it keeps you in that kind of humility. And you see the humility they have. These guys don't walk. It's so much different than have been in both worlds, the MMA world and this world. It's so much different in the world. It's like you see these guys, and they're not like looking like for you to come over and say to them. I wouldn't ask Boonai to take a picture. I mean, he probably thinks I'm a stalker or something. Like every time I see him, he still looks at me like a weirdo, man. Because I don't think he was used to it. It's something we talked about before. These guys are just humility. When you're in around the MMA circle, it's like these fuckers just want to fight you if you don't take a picture. Like, you don't know who I am. It's like, whoa, bro.
Yeah. So just wrapping things up, was there anything that we didn't talk about that you would have liked to have talked about? Guess most of this was sort of like about Max and some other stuff, but
no, I mean, I'm really like, I really love, like, I enjoy going to Max. I mean, I don't know, I go there, I live down the street, I go there on my day off sometimes. If they're good fights and I'm bored, I mean, I'm just a lover of Muay Thai for the reasons you can see. I mean, it saved, you know, literally, like, not cliche, it saved my life in a lot of ways.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Can I talk about the Russian girlfriend I don't have?
Okay, we're going to wrap things up. So thank you so much, Dorian, for coming on the show today. I really appreciate
me, bro.
You taking your time out.
And thanks for my Sky PSNE Diesel Noi hat.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Shout out to Knock Muay Legends.
Yep.
I'll never have a t-shirt, but whatever. I got a hat.
Well, maybe I'll get you a t-shirt next.